or no, not a book, an article entitled The Deeper the Love, the Deeper the Hate. And I wanted to discuss, or I was thinking about, why do we hate the people that we love? Or why does it seem like love and hate are equal and opposite reactions? And what had me on this topic is I was thinking about my last podcast, which was about the Tip and Tiny scandal and about S&M a little bit. And it made me think about how people turn pain into pleasure, and how pain and pleasure are also like equal opposite reactions. So let's start talking about it. First of all, I want to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Honey K, and I am from the Bronx. And I'm 44, and I want to create a space for myself to express my thoughts and opinions. So that's what this is. So if hate is the equal and opposite reaction of love, it made me think about growing up, how you would see siblings who love each other, obviously. They would fight the hardest. They would fight each other harder than they fought someone on the street. And it's like family is a safe place to be the monster, quote unquote, inside of you. Because it's like family is a sure thing. And I remember when I was in college, I felt like my roommates, who I had lived with for 3 years, were the people who I could be the ugliest with, because it's like, you know me, I live with you, and you're a sure thing. You're like my sisters. So, as mean as I can be, as ugly as I can be, as hateful as I can be, as nasty and disgusting as I can be, this is my safe place to be that, because you know my heart. But sometimes, because you live with me, like, that monster has to come out sometimes. And if it's gonna come out anywhere and with anyone, it's with you, because I trust you. And although it may come across as, it's obviously not enjoyable qualities about myself, but it's because I love you that I'm comfortable doing this in front of you. And you are my safe place, which is why I love you as much as I do. Does it make any sense? Probably not. But those thoughts reminded me of a quote from the movie Queen and Slim, which is one of my faves. And I think the actress's name is Jodie. She said, "I want a man to love me so deeply, I'm not afraid to show him how ugly I can be." So that's exactly kind of how I felt with my roommates. Like, this is not my man, but this is the one I live with. This is my closest human to me for these 3 years. And actually, one of my roommates really didn't like that. That was my perspective. But we got over it. And before, I was in college for 4 years. So before the 3-year roommates, I had a first-year roommate. And I remember that she got into a physical altercation with her boyfriend. And she had got kicked out, and because it got very violent. And I had been brought down to, like, give a witness. And the person who I was speaking with about it, she had said to me, she was a very, very smart woman. She had said to me that sometimes the people we love the most are the people we hate the most. Those are the people we can hate. And I was like, wow, that really struck a chord with me, and I will never forget that. Like, she was just a very smart woman. Anything I ever spoke to her about, I was like, wow, she is so smart. But yes, people are in romantic relationships. Sometimes it becomes physical and volatile because of the amount of love they have for each other. Or is that the reason? That's kind of why I read this article. Because for me personally, the harder and faster I fall in with someone, I fall out even harder and faster. A quick little story time since we were talking about college a bit. In college, freshman year, I fell in love, strong, hard. The flames were just, lighting up, okay? And when it ended, very quickly, just as quickly as it begun, like we loved each other in a day, that's how quickly it ended, in an hour. If we fell in love in a day, it ended in an hour. But the force of love that we had turned into an even stronger force of hate for me, because I beat this man down and I was not fighting fair, okay? I'm not even going to incriminate myself, but I beat this man down in his sleep. Another story for another day. But all of that has brought me to the point where I'm researching this topic, and I want to bring out some key points from the article. So one of the quotes from the article is, "Stronger feelings of love were associated with greater hate after the relationship was broken," which I totally agree with. That was a fact to back up my theory. Another quote is, "People have stronger love for people who are similar to them than people who complement them." And if you think about it, any older, potentially divorced woman will advise you, and when I say older, I mean like a little wise, like maybe over 35, advise a younger person, maybe not marry the first guy that you fall in love with. Marry smart, because it's a forever thing. So people should marry, in my opinion, for logical reasons other than emotional reasons, because emotions are temporary. Logic will always be logical. So, like the article said, people have stronger love for people similar to them. And it would obviously be smarter to be with forever someone who compliments you. That's more logical. And that leads me to think about the self-love, self-hate theory. Like, if you love someone who's similar to you, they're more like you. So when it falls out, or even just the things we don't like about ourselves, are we seeing that in that other person who we strongly love and therefore can strongly hate? I hope you guys are following what I'm putting down. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. I hope I'm very clear, because it's like just logic versus emotion, similarity versus compliments, love versus hate. So you love yourself, and some of us hate ourselves. We hate some things about ourselves. And you think about how people get with, we are our parents, first of all. We are an embodiment of both of them. And we tend to gravitate towards people who are like our parents, and hopefully we have good parents. But some of us have, everyone have bad and good qualities. So some of the bad qualities in our parents we might find in our mate. And do we love our parents? Yes. But may we hate one of our parents? Yes. If they did something awful, if they left us, left the family, like we may be harboring some bad feelings that we end up finding in the mate. Which is why anyone older and wise and thinks like me would recommend marrying someone who compliments you, not someone who is similar to you, which is a reason a lot of people do get married. So yeah, it made me think about Kanye West's song, "I Thought About Killing You." In the song, "I Thought About Killing You," he says, and I quote, "And I think about killing myself, and I love myself way more than I love you, so today I thought about killing you. premeditated murder. You'd only care enough to kill somebody you love. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna let that sink in on this topic at hand. Moving on to further discuss the article. Another quote that I wanted to say is, participants most hated the person whom they had loved the most previously. Therefore, love and hate are indeed related. Now, in this article, they break down how they did their findings, how they did their studies. It's quite complicated. They had some Asian last names, the author, and they literally quantified love and hate. They literally made it a math problem. So with the way that they did their study and got their findings, they were able to quantify how much the person loves the other person. And then based on how the number that was, how they were able to quantify how much the person hated them after they simulated betrayal. So I thought it was another backing up point that says love and hate are indeed related. The study found it to be so. Another quote from the article is that hate is an imitation of love and also a type of relationship with others and oneself. You see where I'm going with this? How it's all related, the self-love, self-hate, the parental impact of it, and then how it leads into your relationships that you end up finding in this world. It all relates to ourselves, and I think, love is such a deeper topic, and the equal and opposite to that is hate. So I do think it's interesting to explore these things when you're just studying or analyzing human behavior. Another quote from the article is, if initially the individual loved the target the most, the degree of love is still higher than that of hate after the negative event. However, when the individual did not love the target as much initially, the degree of love would be marked lower than that of hate. So in conclusion, you can still forgive and let the love conquer the hate if it's true love. Overall, not to leave this on a very morbid scale, yes, somebody who you love, you can hate them stronger, but whomever you love the most, that love will always be able to be the stronger feeling and overtake that hate. Now, moving on to the pain and pleasure aspect of it, I just wanted to say that both of those are addictive feelings. Just like people can become addicted to pleasure, people can become addicted to pain. And that, to me, is related to love and hate, because you feel pleasure in love and you feel pain in hate. And whichever one is dominating in the moment is kind of what you want to feel. So that relates to when people self-harm themselves, and then the opposite may be like a narcissist. And to bring it into a real world, I can give a personal story. So when I was fiending for the pleasure of companionship and romantic love and couldn't have it and was feeling down about myself personally, I would inflict pain on myself by seeking love from someone who I knew would definitely only give me pain. Like setting myself up for failure. Because although I knew what was going to happen, so it's like I'm self-harming myself because of the absence of the love and pleasure sense. So I'm going to feel the hate and pain sense. Isn't that crazy how we do things like that? So this man made me feel as low as I felt about myself. So that's what I sought out in the absence of self-love and in the absence of pleasure. But I'm not a behavioral health professional. I just think it's a very cool topic. And overall, pain and pleasure are two extremes that can get convoluted once humans enter the equation. And love and hate can get complicated once humans enter the equation. But in the words of J. Cole, choose wisely. Find a balance and decide what you want to be and what should be the most important to you in your life via your own actions. Let me know what you guys think on this topic. I post this on all podcast streaming platforms as well as YouTube. YouTube is where you can leave a comment. I'll link the article in the description as well. Like I said, my name is Honey K, and I'm from the Bronx. Have a good day.